Good afternoon, everybody. Rath here for the DFS Minute on Sunday, April 12th. Not sure if this is going to be a regular segment that I'm going to be able to do, but I was able to get it in today, and I thought I'd give some of the new players some beginner strategy on Sunday and how to approach it. The first thing you got to look at with Sunday is you have a lot of 1 o'clock and a lot of 4 o'clock games. So my advice is play your hitters from the early games only, because you're going to know who's in those lineups. The 4 o'clock lineups have not come out yet. Do not take any chances on any players you think are going to play, because you don't know what managers are going to do on the day after a Saturday game. Sunday, a lot of times, is a rest day for a lot of guys, so do not take any chances on any late game hitters unless you're playing on DraftKings and you can do a late swap and have yourself covered. The one thing you can do is you can take starting pitchers from the late games. And the one guy I'm going to start off with is Tyson Ross. I like Tyson Ross in this spot. I love the value across the industry. And I like the fact that the low total is 6.5. He's at home. And you got the K side, upside of Ross in this spot. And he also allows you to put some extra bats in your lineup today. And I think there's a few guys that you definitely want to try to get in. And we'll go over some of those guys right here. The other pitcher I'm going to be on is Max Scherzer. Yes, he is a chalk play, so I am recommending him for heads up and 50-50. There is some value on hitters that allows you to get Scherzer into your lineups today. So that weak Phillies lineup that came out today with no Utley, no Ruiz definitely helps sway the momentum, towards Scherzer today. And the one thing you got to remember is that you don't want to blindly take the heaviest favorite of the day. That was the case. Guys were on Kershaw and on Bumgarner yesterday, and those were not optimal spots for both those players. They were going against heavy right-handed power-hitting lineups. Even though Kershaw was a heavy favorite, I was completely off him. I was very public about that, and we did see what happened. So you can't just blindly play Kershaw whenever he goes out there. You got to pick your spots, in my opinion. And one of those spots yesterday I did not like at all. So we're going to go down run down the positions, and I'm going to try to give you some guys with some quick hits because we're coming up on the lineups, getting ready to go. The guy I like a catcher today, I'm going value. I like A.J. Pierzynski hitting 5th. He's pretty cheap across the industry, and he's going against Bartolo Colon, who struggles against left-handers. Pierzynski does give you that power ability, and I do like the Braves lineup today. Heavy lefties at the top: Freeman, Markakis, Eric Young, Jace Peterson. I like all these guys at the top. I think Colon could be in for a long day. So if you're looking at some Braves stacks, the Brave hitters do come pretty cheap, and I think you can get possibly Scherzer out there with a Brave stack, and then load up with maybe a guy like Adrian Beltre and Bryce Harper and put together a really monster lineup. At first base, there's a couple guys I really like. One for value play is Adam LaRoche at 3K. Going against Phil Hughes. If you really want to drop down, I'm recommending this for tournament only. Clint Robinson at 2,200, complete punt, but he's got some power upside. He's hitting 5th, and he's going against a weak pitcher in Sean Sullivan. So if you're in a tournament and you're scraping for salary, or you want to go completely against the grain, then Clint Robinson would be a guy you could throw out there. Not sure how many people are going to be on him. I'm sure a lot of the sharps are going to want to fire entries and have him out there, but not a lot of other guys are going to be on him, I don't think. The other guy you want to look at is Adam Lind, who's pretty much a lock right now going against right-handed pitching. His salary is up. It's up to $3,800 on FanDuel, so just be aware of that. You're not getting the value that you once were getting earlier this week. So I do like Lind there. I think if you go with a cheaper pitcher like Ross, you can get Lind in. If you go with Max Scherzer, then I think you're going over to LaRoche. On second base, I like Jace Peterson. Still minimum salary on FanDuel at $2,200 going against Cologne. Like I said, I like the Braves lefty bats today against Cologne. And then also, if you want to, my more premium play would be D. Gordon hitting leadoff against Carnes. I like the combination of Gordon and Yelich in a lineup together, 1-2 hitting both lefties. I think that's a good combo that you're going to want to. If you go with D. Gordon today, I think you almost have to play Christian Yelich in the outfield in your lineup and take advantage of that 1-2 combo. At shortstop, I think the landscape is pretty thin. I do like Johnny Peralta going against Iglesias. It is righty-righty, but Peralta's in a premium lineup spot, hitting 4th, and he does have some pop. The other guy you might want to look at if you can't get a Peralta in is maybe Mike Aviles hitting 2nd. He's pretty cheap against Kyle Lobstein, but I'm pretty much on Peralta, and the other guy I'm on at that position is Pierzynski today. I've got those in almost every lineup. Third base, I think it's all about Adrian Beltre today. Pay up, get him in your lineup against Keuchel, who does struggle against righties. And we get a good power hitting environment. And I really like Beltre in this spot. I think that he's one of the guys you definitely want to pay up for today. In the outfield, you got a lot of options. We'll start with Jerry Sands, who's hitting fifth. He's got some power potential. He's pretty cheap. He's only $2,300 on FanDuel. He's a tournament play for me. He could be a guy that goes out there and gives you 4 strikeouts, or he could be a guy that hits you a 3-run bomb. So I like Sands in the tournament. Ichiro's hitting fifth. Ozuna showed up late to the ballpark and was scratched. You get Ichiro at 2,200 hitting fifth against Carnes. And I think if you want to go Marlins today, then you can look at D. Gordon, Yelich, and you can obviously Stanton would be a guy you want in there. And I think maybe you're looking at Ichiro at the minimum salary, give you some salary relief, get some of the big boppers in there. You can fit a guy like Bryce, fit a guy like Beltre, and then also Stanton, and really have a nice lineup. Travis Snyder hitting fifth. He's only $3K on FanDuel. He is going against Hutchison, who did struggle against lefties, but he looked good opening day. But I do like Snyder here, and at $3K, I think he's a guy that maybe not a lot of people are going to be on. Adam Eaton hitting leadoff at 2,800 on FanDuel against Phil Hughes. Really, for me, it's the lineup spot and the split advantage. Phil Hughes is shown to be a pretty good pitcher outside of Yankee Stadium now. But I do like Eaton as a guy in a tournament who I don't know if a lot of people are really going to be on today. And my 2 guys that I'm really locked in on outfield is one, I already mentioned both of them, is Christian Yelich and Bryce Harper. I think Bryce Harper going against O'Sullivan, who's a pretty weak pitcher. And, of course, Harper can always have that potential of giving you a bomb, and that's what you need, especially in a tournament. And Yelich is just a steady guy in a sweet spot in the lineup who's a really good hitter and can potentially go out there with D. Gordon hitting in front of him and Stanton hitting behind him. I think Yelich is in for a good day today against a pretty weak pitcher in Nate Carnes. So those are the guys that I'm looking at today. Again, some of these guys you can play on multiple sites depending on what the salary is, but for the most part, we are focused on FanDuel today. And I want to wish everybody good luck. Keep an eye on lineups as you're going up to 1 o'clock. And as we always say here at Road to Curve, stay classy DFS.